We back talking about these goodies, but before we get into the goodies, as you see below in that smaller screen right there, the new album is out, Hate Motivates. Check that out. The link tree is right there in the YouTube header as well as on my Instagram page. And don't forget, we got super chats and stickers available in the chat so you can get your comment highlighted, support the channel. The proceeds will definitely go to increasing the channel, growing this channel, taking us to a bigger platform, hopefully, so we can be on a bigger stage and definitely have more goodies to bring in, a lot more information to make these videos a lot more attractive and a lot more informative. So getting into this, we're about to be talking about Haas and Nikita Mazepin, okay? My problem with this is the fact that Mazepin may be being used as a scapegoat, right? It might quite possibly be. And that's what I want to talk about. Like, I'm a little bit more objective on this than some of you might think that I'm going to be, because a lot of you haters out there think I'm just about to be like, screw everything that's not Lewis Hamilton, when that's not true. F1 is bigger than Lewis Hamilton as a whole, but Lewis Hamilton is the GOAT, right? So this would not be a validated channel or a place for you to come and hear my perspective if I was just only one way. I don't work that way. So with everything developing with the Ukraine and Russia, there has been a push, especially within Formula One and the UK, basically saying that anybody flying the Russian flag, representing, supporting Russia, is not going to be welcomed in the Grand Prix there, all right? So they're saying, like, when you come here, you're not going to be able to race here. So with that trickling downhill, shit rolls downhill, right? Haas has been, or has somewhat been looked at in a situation that they were going to have to bench Nikita for that Grand Prix, that GP. Well, it's then kind of somewhat developed. Nothing is confirmed as of yet. So I'm going to be speaking on this at the end, kind of summing it up, how I feel about it if this actually takes place. If they actually end up basically firing Nikita Mazepin from his seat and bringing in another driver. But before I get totally on that, I'm going to say, Haas, you are full of shit. You're full of shit. I'm disappointed in you. This is the only so-called American Formula One team in Formula One, and your ass ain't really even American. Like, you really do stem from American roots, right? Like, go do your research. They stem from American roots. You don't have any American drivers. Like, don't even talk to me about reserve drivers. I don't want to hear that shit. Main seat drivers, you don't have any. Then come to find out your goddamn colors aren't even American colors. The red, white, and blue ain't even America. It's Russia. It's Russian. What are you doing? So you somewhat, I'm somewhat okay that you're in this damn situation. You really need to fix your shit, get your shit together. Come holler at your boy, like, put me on. I'll hop in that car and take some practice laps. I'm not sure how far to go, but give an American a shot. That's all I'm trying to say, to really be with an American Formula One team. So I ain't gonna spend too much on Haas. I'll make another video about them jive turkeys on another time. We're gonna talk about Nikita and his dad Dimitri. All right, and having a name Dimitri, you know, I ain't trying to damn, stereotype, but we seen the movies, right? Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. You got to be careful about that. But let's just get on this. So to me, if Haas was to basically fire him, and I'm even going to go so far as the Grand Prix over there saying that they don't want anybody, they will not allow anybody to participate. Like, a full write-up from the FIA and all them came out, and I will cue that up, but I'm not worried about it at this point in time. I'm going to say that for another video. I'm going to say that in a whole, I don't really agree with that decision, right? Because I'm American. The United States of America has done some pretty bad shit, right? They've done some bad shit. So I would not want an outside countryman to look at me and say, because I'm American, you're probably a bad apple too. Like, without even giving me a chance or even looking back to see, like, let's see what his mannerisms have been. Let's see what he's been supporting. Let's see what his comments have been like. Has he said anything against the country or any type of hate comments? Has he done any type of hate crimes? Does he have any legitimate connections to the government or political ties that would render him to be, a threat to what we're trying to stand for, which I've made a video on that, product over people. And I truly believe Formula One is product over people. But with that being said, I think that that's what they should do. I don't think they should make it a blanket thing. Like, Nikita can't help where he was born, like where he was raised, but he can help how he developed along with his parenting. And as a grown man now, what type of stances he takes. So has it been voiced that he approves of what Russia's doing? Well, we got to also think about this. What kind of country, communist country, has Russia been known for, right? Like, you speak out against Russia and you're in certain circles, like, you're not living long, kind of, sort of, right? So it's not the coolest thing to do to renounce your country's decision on invading another country, and then you have to go back to that country. So him not saying anything will be the best thing. So I don't really know where he stands. I just know if they don't, I don't agree with them just saying you can't participate. Like, you knew he was Russian to begin with. You knew all the conflicts and type of shit we've been dealing with Russia as far as, and you've allowed him to be in Formula One this long. So I'm going to say this. If anything, it's quite more possible that, like, I could see them banning his dad from sanctioned events, period, from Formula One. Like, you can't come in the pits, you can't come to the races, because his dad will have more of what we've seen as a characteristics to probably have ties politically, to also have mannerisms and tactics to be hostile. Like, let's not get it twisted, stakeholder, part owner of a fertilizer and chemical company which deals in ammonium nitrate of all substances, which, you know, have been ingredients for some pretty destructive things. And he's also been known to practice what they call raider type tactics, aggressive tactics to take over competitive companies. He's had the dealings with another individual who is a good amount of stakeholder. I think a quarter, 27%, 25% stakeholder, who also, by the way, was a former owner of the Brooklyn Nets and also has political ties. So I can see his dad having a situation where the Formula One is like, no. But we also know that Dimitri has threatened Haas at some time to take away funding from the team, right? This is a rich family. He's threatened to take funding away from the team before due to the fact that there was a chassis dispute with him claiming that his son's car was heavier than his running mate, which was in fact the reason why he wasn't competitive, which I think that's a load of bullshit. I don't think he's competitive because he's not that great of a driver. The guy's got over almost a decade of karting experience. And Formula One, or his Formula One record ain't better than his karting record. Like, he's not been that good in Formula One. Let's not mistake that, okay? So does Nikita carry any political ties? I haven't seen any. Aside from this bad stain right here, as you see in this shot, him groping a woman's breast, whether unwanted or wanted, on social media, thinking it's cool to post it, was a bad decision. He's young. He made a bad decision. I'm not excusing that, because you don't violate a woman's space, right, or body unless she allows you to do it, and therefore it's not violating. But then again, you also have to think, you're a Formula One driver. You're representing a team. Is that something that should be on social media? Something private and intimate like that? That's something intimate. That's not something you put out there on social media, especially knowing the brand that you're supposed to be representing, yourself and Haas. You don't do that. So it was a big mistake, which he apologized for. Later, the young lady decided that she was going to come out and voice her right on women's rights. And then since then, you know, that situation is what it is. Outside of that, I don't see anything politically that would say that Haas should fire Mazepin, except what if Haas is using this situation, which is a horrible situation. This whole thing with Ukraine and Russia is horrible, as well as other events that have taken place. But what if Haas is using this as a Trojan horse to bring in what they really were inevitably going to do anyway, which is can Mazepin and bring up another driver, okay? Let's take a look at some stats. Let's do that, shall we? Yes, we shall, Wolfpack. We shall look at some stats. Let's take a look and see some stats right here. So we're going to look at these stats, all right? Now, whether they're all totally correct, they should be somewhere around the parameter. Like, I don't like to totally 100% say all these sites are well, but I would say that Motorsport Stats should have their shit pretty much together. By the way, Haas has removed the sponsorship logos from that company, and I think it's I'm not going to even try to hack that up, but anyway, that and the colors. But let's look at Mazepin stats, all right? So as we see right here, let's see how great he's been doing. Well, shit, he ain't been doing that damn great. Championship 0. That's understandable right now. You know, he hasn't been in there that long. Wins, 0. Podiums, 0. Poles, 0. Starts, 21. Fastest laps, 0. Best finish, 14th. Best grid, 15th. Points, 0. Retirements, 5. And I think it might be 6 or 5, but retirements, 5. So Mazepin has wrecked or retired more cars than he's ever placed. He ain't even placed 5th in any race. All right, he's not placed 5th in any race, but he's had 5 or 6 retirements. Years in there is 1. Best championship position, 21st. Entries, 22. Starts, 21. As we go, more zeros. More zeros. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, zeros, zeros. That's what we got. Zeros. So, he hasn't been that good. Now, I know what you're going to say. Haas, Williams, those are bottom running teams. It's difficult to compete there. Okay. Even with that being said, I don't think he's been that good. And I think maybe Haas coming into a new regime, a new era with the new car, the new regs, I inevitably think that Mazepin was going to lose his seat anyway. I mean, think about this. What is the old saying? If you're great, they can tolerate you. Think about all the greats, right? Michael Jordan, he came with some bullshit. Don't get it twisted. They tolerated it because he was great. LeBron James doesn't really come with any bullshit, but he's great. So there's nothing really to tolerate there aside for some of the things he wants to do organizationally. Let's look at Kyrie Irving, since we talked about the Brooklyn Nets earlier. All right, he took his stance on the COVID protocol, which I don't condemn him for that. I actually agree with him on that. Like, nobody should force you to do something with your body you don't. But Kyrie decided, like, I'm going on a sabbatical on some other shit. He still has his job as a player in the National Basketball Association. Still, he can't even play home games, but he still is a player on the team. Why is this? Because Kyrie Irving is a great basketball player. He is a better player in the NBA than Nikita is a driver in Formula One. And since he's not that great and he hasn't yielded something that would make Haas think he's so promising to take them into the future, it's quite possible they would use this situation to cut ties. That's what I think. That is how I feel about this situation. No, I don't agree with it if it was solely based on him being from Russia, unless they have some incriminating evidence that he's been supporting Russia's agenda, had a hand in Russia's agenda, has been saying things on social media, or found out that he was saying things amongst in a private party that he was all for invading Ukraine, that he lose his seat or not be able to participate in GPs. But I think on the flip side, if they were using this situation, I don't think that's integrity, but it's opportunity. I agree with the decision they would make to can him. I don't think he showed promise. So, and Schumacher's going to be next up on this block. Like, if he doesn't come in this season and really show some type of grit, something they want to do, it's true. Like, when you're with a bottom feeder team or a team that seems to run more in the back, you get a little bit more leeway because, you know, it's like, man, the team is not so great as a whole. So do we really put all that on the driver? Just like, it's like Haas, it's like the Formula One, what Cleveland Browns are to the NFL, right? You're a good player there. You can probably stay there forever if you wanted to, you know, given salaries and all that other stuff, because they're like, shit, we ain't been doing that great. So we got a good player. He's decent. Let's just keep him. But Nikita ain't been that great. So that's what I think on this situation. Let me know what you think below in the comment section. I think Haas has an opportunity this season to be a little bit better than last, since everybody's kind of dealing with this new car. Especially with this porpoising that's going on. We're going to talk about that as well, with another additive to something that Formula One and FIA did. Maybe they might be kind of regretting it now, so we'll have a video on that. And it's not to say that they are, but I think it's quite possible they may be looking back and saying, maybe we overreacted on that, and maybe we should rethink about that. But you know how Formula One is with integrity, trying to, you know, come back on something that they did was wrong. They don't like to do it. If that was the case, we wouldn't be sitting here with this prolonged time leading up to the new season, and we haven't really got a concrete, direct answer as to the scandal that took place and what they're going to do as far as that, is besides for them talking about director by committee and moving Massey into a different, damn position. It's almost like, excuse me, I'm not trying to offend anybody's religion, but you got the Catholic Church and then you got a priest being a toucher, and they don't just kick him out the Catholic Church, they just move into another like covenant, like move him somewhere else. Like, is that what we doing like with Massey? No, yeah, that's kind of what we're doing with Massey. That's kind of what they doing with Massey. I would have fired his ass. But anyway, let me know what you think below in the comment section. Unfortunate situations that are going on right now in the world, and I think Haas may be using this situation to get rid of a driver that they want to get rid of because they probably want to get rid of his father too, which I can't blame them on that. So it might be one of these situations where a kid is condemned by his parents, and you don't pick your parents, but sometimes you have to distance yourself from them. But we know that he's a rich little kid and he's enjoyed that. Is he really going to cut that supply line off? No. So, all right, y'all be safe. Just build it. Peace.